So we are, Serge and I are going to try and have a quick chat with you all and get some insights about the CRRAB website, in particular, how research is disseminated on the CRRAB website, just to build off of the previous discussion. But maybe we could do, does everyone want to say hello to each other? I don't know, introduce yourself. I think it's only a handful of us here, but it might be nice to just know who's here. I'm Caitlin Flagg. I manage the Retinoblastoma Research Program. I've been part of CRRAB since it was conceived back in 2015 now. So I'm really excited to chat with you all. Who wants to go next?
I'm Brenda Callie, and I've been in retinoblastoma for 50 years precisely. And you all know me, and I know all of you, I hope.
I'm Serge Dorna. My son had retinoblastoma in 2015, and I've been volunteering since, and I've been trying to do the tech side, so I've been doing volunteering for the website stuff mostly.
I'm Polina. My daughter was diagnosed with retinoblastoma in August 22, and I have no idea what I'm doing here, but Catherine gave me the information, so I'm just joining to see if I could be of any help to anything.
Thank you. It's nice to have you.
And I'm Jen. I'm one of the nurses in the eye clinic at Kids.
Thanks, Jen.
Hi, everyone. My name is Omar. I'm a second-year master student at the Demars Lab, also volunteering for this breakout room. And if you guys have any questions or want me to post anything on the Miro board on your behalf, you can just post it in the chat or send it to me.
Thanks, Omar. So what Serge and I, and just jump in whenever you want, Serge. I think we're just going to take a very non-structured approach today. But what we thought we'd do is maybe start by pulling up the website and just give you a quick orientation with a focus on the sections that are currently used to disseminate research. And then we have a Miro board, which is in the chat, where we thought we could get some feedback on these particular sections, but also knowing we only have a short amount of time, it can just be, verbal, oral feedback that we can collate for a later date, whatever works best. But let's start with just looking at the website together, if that's okay. So we all have the same understanding how that works. And Serge is our website person. He's been so kind enough to try and learn how to do this for us, and everything here is all because of Serge. So I'll do my clumsy way of trying to showcase it, but this is all Serge's work. And I guess for a bit of background, we're kind of like a lot of this stuff has kind of evolved while the website was built. So, the Cup of Tea is a newer product that actually our newer initiative, and we already had the website conceived, I believe, at the time of the Cup of Tea. And so some of this is kind of just being plugged in where we can in real time. And now we're hoping to have a more thoughtful approach, but that hopefully explains maybe a bit more about why things are as they are. I'm just going to zoom in a bit here. Okay, so this is our main landing page. And again, I'm just going to focus for the sake of time on the parts of the website that have to do with research results sharing. So one section is the blog, which was discussed previously in the last couple of sessions. So here, every quarter, we put a few different posts up in our blog. As of late, they mainly all pertain to the Cup of Tea, but for this next year or two, we are committed to each quarter having at least one blog post on top of advertising the Cup of Tea that showcases research about our topic. So that will be in the blog. It currently appeared here in this blog section. The blog is passive, so people would have to know to come to the website to see the blog, but we do also send out the links to our blog in a newsletter every quarter to everyone in our community mailing list. So the blog is here currently, but we'd love to discuss that with you more. And then the other places you could get research results information is our article summaries page. So we don't at the current moment have a landing page for the Cup of Tea per se, but we have a landing page for all of our plain language summaries, and they're organized right now in a kind of quickly thrown together. So there's a list of summaries here. These are summaries that we find on the internet that people have published, because part of the publication process in publishing articles sometimes requires you to write a plain language summary. If that's the case and find them, we throw them in this table. Otherwise, we have these plain language summaries generally written for the Cup of Tea, and they're just put in order from the first one ever written all the way down to the one for the last Cup of Tea. And it's quite cumbersome if you don't know what you're looking for to find them. You have to tell people scroll to the bottom. But this is how we designed it originally. So that's the article summaries section. And then aside from that, if you wanted to know about this specific cup of tea events, you have to generally search for them, and it would bring you to the blog posts that relate to that cup of tea. So yeah, we don't have a landing page for cup of tea. We do have one for the blog, and we do have somewhere to get the plain language summaries. There's one other place where we have some research disseminated. It's in the top 10 priorities section, but for today, we're not going to focus on that section because we like it and we think it's okay for now. But what we really want everyone to help us consider together today is how to optimize that we're sharing these themes every quarter, and the plain language summaries, the cup of tea, and the blog. So that's really where we want your feedback, I guess. So I'll stop chatting for a minute and see if you have any knee-jerk reactions, and then we can also pull up that Miro board that we created, which was intended just to do some very quick brainstorming where we just wanted to get ideas on kind of overall, and then on these various sections of the website, some thoughts you might have in terms of the layout, what information you might want to make sure we have there, and any other feedback. So this is just to get some thoughts, but I'll stop talking. You guys can let me know what you think, or Serge, you could share your thoughts and some ideas you might have for redesign.
Yeah, so obviously the article summaries page is just like a dump of data, and it's not exactly ideal. We do want to break that up so it is easier to find, search, or be a bit more appealing to even go through and take a look at. I have a few ideas of using the website framework to improve that, and using it more of a blog style entry, so that each summary would be essentially a categorized blog post. So that would help with being able to search and discover a little bit better. Yeah, I'm open to ideas to see what we can do to improve that. And if anybody has been to the website or wished they could find the research in a better way, or failed to find something they were looking for, those would be helpful things to know as well.
Yeah, so I think it's useful to remember the context that we created this. We're sharing research because we heard from the patients loud and clear back in 2015, 16 when we first started CRRAB. There's nowhere we can go to get trusted information. We don't know what's good data, and if we do find a really good article, we can't really make sense of it all the time. So how can we get a repository of articles? And then we discussed that with patients more, and they thought, well, that would help with the accessibility because some of these articles are complicated for all of us. And so that's with the kind of backstory as to where we got here. And so today's discussion is how can the website better meet those needs? Does anyone have any thoughts? One notion might be to have a banner. So rather than having article summaries and blog, I personally, but I'd love your thoughts, maybe it's a bad idea, would like to see the menu have, like research results or something very obvious so people don't have to go looking for it. And then under that, you could find the article summaries, the blog, the cup of tea could all be like subsections or something within that. But I don't know if people think that'd be helpful or just more buried. I don't know.
Yeah, I think what you guys were saying, like you want a section for a cup of tea, but you don't have it.
Correct. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. So if you had, I guess the subsections, like what you were saying under, I don't know if you change article summaries, I guess you would have a different heading and then have subtitles.
Yeah. So you wouldn't be opposed to kind of grouping all of these things under a research results page, and then we could have sections of it or sub pages. That makes sense to you, Jen?
Yeah, I agree.
Brenda, you're very visual. Do you have any thoughts? If you're there.
Well, I must confess, I haven't looked at the website much, but I think what would be nice would be to have it as simple with maybe the sections and the topics we're talking about today, that you would be able to go pick between 4 things and a line down through to what you might want to get to. I don't know.
Okay. So I think we're saying general for the layout. I think we're all saying the same thing, maybe more simplified.
Yes.
With subsections. I'll just call it that. Surgeon, I would know what you mean.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any ideas or thoughts? There's no bad idea. We're just figure this out as we go. Omer, do you have any thoughts? Putting you on the spot.
No, not right now. I do agree,
Okay.
like the cup of tea should have its own dedicated section. And yeah, I think that's it for now, but I will add more once I look more to the website.
Okay. Do we want to try and we can put some thoughts, if anyone has it, into this brainstorming. I also tried to start pasting some stuff in here we could do if we wanted to do some mock-ups, like start thinking about each page look like. We don't have to do that today. I'm not going to be the best person to guide us through that because I am not technical, but I could try. But Serge, what would be helpful here? So we're thinking broadly, having more subsections and having a dedicated cup of tea section.
I guess one question I have is the, we put out the newsletter and that goes out to just email.
Yep.
I was wondering whether or not it would make sense to have that as a blog post.
It is. It usually, I think, at least it used to be, I must confess, others help me with this now, but it used to be that it would be one and the same. Like the newsletter you would all get, which is sent out through MailChimp. If you click on the live links, it would bring you into the blog. So I think they're almost one and the same. Am I wrong?
Sorry, but the actual newsletter itself, would that be, is there a copy of the newsletter?
No, there's no copies of the, I see what you're saying. That's a good idea. No, there's no copies of the newsletter anywhere. That's worth considering, yeah.
And that should be right at the front so that you can quickly just go to the website and go quickly to the latest newsletter.
Sure. Okay, yeah. That's a good idea. I think that through, but how, yeah, but I like the idea very much, sure.
Yeah, and then you still have all the same links from the newsletter into the specific blog.
But it's, yeah, it'd be easier to consume and share that way too, maybe, like link people into the newsletter.
If you come to the website later, you can see them in chronological.
Right, versus scrolling through the blog. It's a different experience. Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's not more work because that's the same work.
Yeah, no, it's not extra work. That's a great point. Okay. So that's some overall suggestions. I definitely think we should have a dedicated section for cup of tea. It's so impressive what even and everyone who helps does. They have it up on Spotify, they have it on YouTube, and they have a lovely bio of the people who are presenting. And so much work goes into that. And it's not, and we could certainly go back from creation of the cup of tea because we have all of that information. I think we could have a really rich section which like links into all those, YouTube and Spotify and everything else. And I think that would be, I think right now we're underselling how much work goes into the cup of tea and might make people drawn to it more if they saw all of that. So I don't know, for me, in terms of important information, I think it's useful to see the bios of the leads because and their lived experience always is so impactful and helps make it seem personal. So I think that would be important to see on the website if we could.
Is there any more content? Because there is a posting for each cup of tea. Blog, right? Is there any more? Is all the content here that's the same? Or is there more content somewhere else?
I think we could do more than this. So sometimes in the newsletters, like this newsletter gave a bit of information about this cup of tea host. Sometimes it's just buried in here. So it just says like, here's our speakers.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess what I was thinking is a bit more about each speaker. Like even and then when they make their slide deck for the cup of tea, they always have a slide with their bio in it. And so I thought, could we just pull that out? We already have the text from the slide written. Could that be something we put up every quarter? Like here's the framework that we use every quarter, so it's standardized. But here's the topic, here's the article, here's the patient partner's bio, something like that. I guess is what I was thinking.
Yeah, like the purpose is to reuse the content we have.
Exactly, no more work.
Yeah, not more work, but reuse it so that it's preserved and it's there.
Yeah, because you might not, like from this, you wouldn't necessarily know anything about Genevieve, except here it says she's the president of CRBS, but otherwise you wouldn't know about her experience. And I think a paragraph about her might make you more drawn to watch the cup of tea or come to the next cup of tea. You know what I mean?
Are the slides available on?
Yeah. Well, the slides right now, we have them. They're not shared publicly, but we keep all or archive all of them.
Yeah, maybe we put that on as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I agree. If you could go back and relook at a cup of tea, that would be really nice.
Yeah, we can watch the video with all of the slides and the presenters talking, but maybe we could share the slides. That's worth considering.
I think if the video is the important thing, so you could look
Yeah.
through and stop at any place you want and think about it or ask a question personally. Yeah.
Okay. I lost my Miro board for a second here. Do you have it open, Omer? Are you typing this in there? I'm sure you are. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I like your idea of kind of standardizing a template.
Mhm.
So that we go to, I'm sure Ivana has a standard template that she's using to create the cup of tea. And we can use that to feed that into a standard template I kind of use for a blog post.
Okay.
So it's like you copy from here, paste it into here, and then that's how you create the blog post. So it's just a reviewing of the content we have.
Okay, I'm just gonna make sure that's typed in here. Yes, I agree with you. Making everything, I think what we're saying is standardized as possible, really.
Right, because we don't want everybody to always feel like they're inventing something new.
Yeah, agreed.
We want to, save people's time and put the time where it matters.
Yep, I would agree. So standardized layouts for overall the meeting for the blog and the cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to mispronounce your name, but I'd love to hear from you. Is it a Panaya? Sorry, I don't think I'm saying that. I'm really sorry.
That's okay. It's Panina. Sorry, I'm just
Panina, yeah.
multitasking.
No worries.
Driving my other child to skating lessons.
We all understand.
I'm new to wanting to find out more information. Dr. Payton very kindly waited before giving me other avenues to look at, or just other things to do with retinoblastoma.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we're so glad to have you here, and this might seem a bit peculiar being your first interaction, but we're happy to have you here, and any feedback you have now or later is always really welcome. Appreciate it.
I'm not on social media, so I find I really like websites. I'm not on social media because I end up spending hours getting lost in
me too.
a land. So I've become one of those people that I don't have Instagram, I don't have Facebook. So the website for me, I really like it. And I found it useful when I was looking at stuff, trying to join, and the research things that you can. Yeah, it's all new to me. So I'm trying to be valuable, but I'm here to try and assist with.
No, you're even having another person is so nice. Yeah, I can reach out to you after. Now that we're looking at the website, you could even think of some feedback and send an email. I too have taken a step back from social media, and given that I also see our website from a different vantage point than I used to before. So I'm sure you have lots of useful insights whenever you have a chance to think about it. We're putting you on the spot today, but I'll reach out if that's okay. But okay, glad to know you looked at the website. That's great. Okay, so anyone else have any thoughts about this? We only have a little bit of time left, but we're saying everything in one section, maybe with subsections, trying to keep the content standardized, making sure we're leveraging the existing resources so we're not making more work, keeping things standardized to avoid extra reinventing of the wheel each time. One thing I'd love your thoughts on is the topics. So we've just decided as a group in the other board that each quarter will have these topics or themes, whatever you call them. Personally, I would like to see those on the website because I have this dream that folks might find those topics and they might make them want to check in next quarter because it's something they were interested in. Is that just too much information, or do you think there is a place for that on the website that might be useful? Like a schedule kind of idea. So, this quarter.
Would that be kind of paired with the idea of putting the email newsletter out? Right, maybe we don't call it the newsletter on the website. On the website we call it something a bit more oriented toward that, but it's going to be I'm not sure, something along that lines, because was the intention every month we're on a theme, but what's the output of that theme every month?
Yeah, so I'm glad you're asking. We as a lab have had to go through this about 15 times to get on the same page. Every quarter we'll have the theme. And then they'll have 2 outputs at a minimum for that theme, one being a blog post about something to do with that theme, and one being the cup of tea. We will also have probably a cup of tea blog post, but in terms of research sharing outputs, there'll be a cup of tea and a blog unrelated to the cup of tea. So we would invite someone who has expertise or interest and lived experience in that topic to do a blog. So every quarter, there'll be at least 2 unique standalone outputs. We will also have cup of tea blogs and other things, but that's separate. Right now, we're just focusing on like the 2 ways we're pushing out research information. So I didn't know if
in that newsletter, we're going to be posting that schedule, I assume.
Well, that's what we're at. We just decided on it. We've never had a schedule like this before. So that was one of the questions is, do we want in the newsletter and blog and website to have that schedule shared ahead of time? Or is it just we announce at the beginning or end of, the quarter before? Do we say, hey, DPIC's coming up? Or do we say, here's the schedule for the full year so people might take notice? And how much advance warning would people care to know about what research we're sharing, I guess, is the question.
Would you have the information for the full year?
We have at least the topics. We just picked the topics in the past session through till the end of 2025. They could change, but we do have a tentative schedule on the high level topics. We don't have the specific cup of tea articles or anything, but we could at least broadly say, if you're interested in learning about DPIC health or clinical trials, come, pay attention in this quarter. I don't know if it'll work, but it might give people some more perspective on the scope of things we're trying to share. But it could be too much. I love sharing information and I do that too much of that. So I didn't. Would you want to know that, Serge, as a patient, like lived experience, or is that just not really useful?
I mean, I would just take the information as it comes.
Yeah.
Having I mean, I barely look at my kids' schedule for school.
Me too. That's true.
Like I just what this week.
Yeah, that's me.
So
okay. Might be too much. That's a good feedback to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what we could do is make sure that we when we're putting those newsletters out and the sections of the website or whatever, we theme it so that it's obvious that the content here is because it's grouped with this month's theme.
Yeah, so just in the month, we'll keep ourselves oriented to that theme, or in the quarter.
Yeah, and like advertise it out. This is whatever month was. That's why these are here.
Yeah, that's what I want. I think it's kind of catchy. Like there is some unity, unlike in the past where things were very disjointed. Okay, so Omer, do you have that somewhere that will? Yeah, you have. Could you put somewhere maybe an overall that the important information would be sharing that the quarterly topic or theme? Thanks, Omer. Okay. Any other thoughts? I was hoping we could map it out and have a little layout plan, but I don't know if we have time for that. We only have until 1:30, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Yeah. So, I mean, I'll scroll down here. I don't think we have time for this at all. I wasn't exactly sure how we would do it, but we could just think of the main menu for a second. So right now, this is the main menu of the website. So we have About Us. We have an Events section, which has 2 subsections, which is generally just focusing on the AGM and the symposium. Get involved. This is about how people can be involved. And some of this is out of date, quite frankly, needs to be updated. Top 10 priorities, which just lists the priorities, article summaries, research community, and blog. So if you had to design the website today, we made you. Thoughts would be, I think, I don't know, I don't want to be outspoken, I'm supposed to be facilitating. I think we would keep most of these, but I'd rename article summaries maybe. Is that what we're saying, or is that just my idea?
I think also maybe put blog underneath there.
Yeah.
Or because it depends on the word we use.
Yeah.
At the top level.
What do we want to call it?
Well, I mean, what goes is everything in the blog? Is everything in the blog?
No, it's not just research results. It's a nice little smorgasbord of all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like a bio of a new person who's leading, or I don't know, there's all sorts of things in the blog. So maybe we keep the blog on its own, but we just link in here to research dissemination blogs, so research results blogs.
Maybe what we can do is like a subset of blog entries.
Yeah,
so we'll
exactly.
Research results, and then under that, research blog postings or something like that. Newsletter separately. Maybe we have one that's like here. You can see our newsletters here, and then after that is just go straight to article summaries.
Maybe it's like a cup of tea, people won't know what that is though. Like for us, that's a thing now. But if you were unfamiliar, I'm sure you think we're crazy when I have a cup of tea. You know what I mean? I've always thought that was an interesting title.
I mean, it's really like it's kind of
You
a
just
podcast.
put it in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, would you be opposed to saying like cup of tea podcast or vlog or something like that, to say, okay, this is I don't know, what you expect to see at a cup of tea is you're going to sit and you're going to watch or listen to like content.
It is a vlog. All the ones they're historical or video blog, like they're vlog. I would call them that. But if we're posting about the upcoming ones, then it's beyond just that. It's also like event information, you know, so people know how to get into the session. But we can think about that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, we'll think on it. But that would be in here. So this is supposed to be a subsection. So we're saying cup of tea, something, plain language summaries. I think they should be on their own, not just buried in a cup of tea. Research blog posts. Now, same thing with the newsletter search. The newsletters should be their own because they're not only research results. So maybe it's blog and then newsletter archive, even though that's
then I would want to put blog and that so under its own same heading, because they feel like very much
interrelated.
Underneath maybe blog, there's a
newsletter or something?
You can just say, I just want to see the newsletters or something.
Okay. I'm going to leave it like this and you can make it sound far better. I don't know if it's I archive, but it's not right. But yeah. Okay. And then it'd be like a landing page. Maybe we talk about why we're trying to share research results at the beginning to get everyone under the same framework. And then they would find the other pages here. What do you think of that, broadly speaking?
So those would be 3 subsets: cup of tea.
Yeah.
Plain
Sorry, it's not very
language.
clear. But yeah.
So, okay, that way 3.
Yeah, I thought they'd be under here, like these ones are, like drop down kind of thing. You know what I mean?
If you're going to have a blog already in your next to research community, then you're putting research results blog posts. Like I feel like that should be under the same heading as blog.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The thing is, the blog will have research results posts, but it will have other things too. Like, and so if we put blog under here, it might get lost because it's a place where people could find out about not just research results, but how to be in a research study, or who know, the CRRAB AGM summary goes in the blog, like all sorts of things go in the blog. So I think I'm not I thought we moved it under, to be honest, until today, and now I'm reconsidering that. Yeah, but there will be the odd post where we're pushing out new research results, at least 1 a quarter. And so I don't know, maybe call it something else here, Serge. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like just for clarity, we don't call it blog post, we call it research, I don't know, result summaries or something. I don't know. Even though that is a blog, we're renaming the same content in 2 places.
Get rid of the word blog, just research results summary.
Yeah, just get rid
of
blog.
Just be the blog postings viewed in a different way. But the user doesn't need to see that.
But then how does that differ from plain language summary? I'll have to think on it. Sorry, Brendan knows I have a habit of just rewording things for about hours on end, but it's not just the research results summary, because it might have like a bio of the author. Like it's different than a plain language summary. I guess that's my point. I don't want them to be.
So the plain language summary is literally the research simplified.
Precisely. It's an article where we.
And then you have a blog post kind of prepping and flowering the research summary.
Well, yes, but then the blog posts are putting out each quarter. Like this is a plain language summary. So there's the purpose, the summary, the conclusions, and some personal content. That's our summaries. What we're going to do though, that's plain language summary. The blog will be different. Like we may do we hope each quarter to do a blog about something entirely different than the plain language summary. It'd be a whole different article, and it might be a video blog with the author of the article, or it might be like, it won't be just a plain English summary. It'll be a bit different than that. It might be interviewing the author of that, or it might talk about research that's underway, and so it's meant to be a bit different than a plain language summary, and a bit more flexible. Plain language summaries are stuck to that very rigid schedule or structure. So then
why don't we do we have research, I don't know what we want to call it, research blog post, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
And then under that would be the plain language summaries, because that's the hierarchy, right? Like you have research posts, and some of those research posts are a post about the summary.
Okay. Yes, I think up till now we haven't, I'm so annoying. I think up till now we haven't put every plain language summary as a blog post. They just go on the website. Some of them are blog posts, but maybe that's what we do. Every plain language summary is a blog post, and we have additional ones which are something different. So everything goes under blogs, and there's a subsection of plain language summaries. I'm not opposed to that.
I think that would be really nice, so that you
nice
could
and orderly.
go quite straight to the plain summary.
Yeah, like you want to cut down the amount of other stuff you're seeing when you're like, I want to go right to the research. And then you see a list of that. And you're like, oh, I want to find out what's going in research. So you go one step up into the research blog, which includes summaries.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I think we get to share this now with the group, so we'll see what even the bosses have to say. But I don't mind that idea. It's much more orderly. Thank you for that suggestion. Okay, I think we're up for time. I don't know if they're going to kick us out or how this works. Leave room. Maybe we're all supposed to leave the room because I think we're late. Thanks for your feedback, and please don't hesitate to send an email to Serge or I or anybody if you have other ideas. We're always open to suggestions and always need help. So if you have some keen interest in website development, don't hesitate to let us know. Are we good, Omer?
Yeah, we're good to go. I think they just want us back in the main room and then discussing like what we, I guess, discussed in this session.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.